GM, ladies and gents, this is obviously your number one airdrop hunter, LL, and we're going to be doing one of these chain-specific airdrop guides again because they have been fairly popular, and since I started doing them last year, we have basically covered all the significant ecosystems by now. I think there's maybe a couple of left, like Layer X, and maybe we talk about Tron or something, but today we're going to be talking about one of these entries that I've been meaning to do for some time now, and that is RoninChain. And what really kind of put them on the map in terms of airdrops was really the Pixel airdrop, which I didn't get. I think a lot of people did get that drop, and they have done since two different airdrops. The one that was kind of the play to earn campaign, and then they dropped two Ronin stakers, and there's a big belief that there's going to be forms of stake drops happening in the Ronin ecosystem going onwards, because this is a chain that is specifically based on gaming, and there's a fair amount of games available on RoninChain right now, and the expectation is that there is going to be a lot more going into future. And these airdrops can vary from NFTs to tokens. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes the NFT comes first and then the NFT holders get the tokens. There can be many ways of doing distributions which are valuable. So both are still like, you shouldn't ignore something if it's just an NFT reward, because those can be valuable too. And obviously Axie had a very major airdrop down the line. I don't think that they are going to be doing airdrops in the future. I mean, they have their own ecosystem which has been growing insanely. But yeah, let's kind of started with the staking thing, because that's probably the thing that's most easiest, and the thing that you guys are probably going to be doing in case you're not gamers. So one of the things that is kind of easy about Ron staking is that there's not actually that many validators in this space. And especially in terms of governing validators, that number is only 12, and there's only 22 here. And the significant ones here are Sky Mavis GAV, which is kind of like the company behind everything. Sky Mavis is one of the paradigm partners, which is something I always talk about with these airdrops, how significant they are with sponsoring things that end up doing airdrops down the line. And then we have Nansen, which is a data analytics. It's kind of like the Gotham, I think that's what it's called. It's like a data driven, like a platform, and they are doing many different things. So Nansen might be doing their own drop at some point. Will this be part of the criteria? That remains to be seen, but there could be multiple criteria going onwards to that. Then you have like large VCs like Animonica Brands. That's probably not going to be anything significant. And a lot of these other ones are pretty small, but there are a couple of things that are probably going to be valuable. And the first one is Yield Guild Games. There has been rumors about basically a DeFi protocol that is going to be are associated with Yield Guild Games, and they are going to be doing an airdrop for the stakers who are validated to Yield Guild Games. So that's another one. Then there is a project called Moku, which is a game, which we are going to be talking about in a second in this video. So that's another big candidate. And then there could be, well, actually CyberConks is another one, but they already have their token, the banana token, I believe it is called. And, well, have they distributed everything on terms of that supply? Are they going to be distributing more of it, or are they going to be launching a second token? Those are questions you have to answer, but I'm kind of leaning towards no, there's not going to be anything coming out from them. I'm not closely following them or their NFT collections. I did have one of the CyberCons, the 3D ones at some point. So, yeah, I don't know actually. So I would say in the lower end, but since you have the ability to basically put out multiple candidates, that is something that you can do. So let's say you have $200 of RON, you can distribute it 50, 50, 50, and 50. So that's something you can do. The APYs on these well, validators is pretty good. We're talking about 12%. It's a good APY, but not always great for the actual price of the token. We see a lot of tokens with similar rates, Solana, Tron, Algorand have around that 10, 12%, and it's not usually very good for the price. Let's be honest about that. But hey, maybe you get lucky, you stake throughout a 4-year cycle or something, and then the token has a resurface, in the market, and then can do really, really well. But don't make millions on the APYs. But yeah, so I would say Nansen, Sky Mavis, GV, and then I would do Yield Guild Games. Those are the top 3 ones. And then if you want extras, you could add Moku and CyberKongs. Anything else here doesn't seem to be any significance. Google is not going to be doing an airdrop. That's 100% sure. Dap Radar has already a token. And some of these I don't even know. What is AxiChat? What is Kogo Bear? They could be just like random hobbyist validator things. So ignore that. The other things that you can do on this dash is obviously doing bridge transactions, and that is probably going to be some form of a criteria for a certain entity. I don't know what technology is being used on the bridge. So what is the underlying technology? Like, is it socket? Is it hyperlane? I don't know. But you can use this, and that can be a form of a criteria for other things down the line. Other thing you can do here is obviously participating on governance. I always recommend doing that on every single chain. That's the kind of the idea of the DAOs, that people participate. And obviously there is a gap. We have discussed about the average intellect of the average crypto user. They don't understand this shit. So yeah, if you don't know anything, maybe don't vote, or just like, there's usually an option to just like abstain. Do that. But that's basically what we have here. And oh yeah, there's Katana, which is the swapping platform here. And guess you could play around with this a bit when I do wrapped Ronin, and maybe even, I think, can you even provide liquidity here? You can. So that's probably another criteria that can be a thing going on in the future. But let's now jump into some other stuff. Recently, they started a Ronin name service. And this seems to be, well, it's powered by Pyth, so that's kind of a good thing. But is this run by the official team? I was not able to really find a clarification on that. But, it doesn't hurt to basically get one. The price of, let's see what it would be a price for one. It's $5 a year. That's not a very big price. So you might want to consider it, okay? You want to consider it. But will it be criteria? Remains to be seen. I mean, some of these name services are just inherently run by the main company, and that's why they already have a token, which would be Ron in this case. They might not do any token whatsoever, but it might be a requirement for something, another drop. And then we have an ongoing project, which a lot of people have talked about. This is Ragnarok, which is a very... it's kind of like a Mabel. Well, I haven't really played Ragnarok nor Mabel Story, but I think the two are very similar games, and they were really popular in Southeast Asia. I mean, they had a global audiences, and now they are doing this sort of a tower defense game. That's how I gathered basically on it. And there are a lot of these social media tasks that you can basically do to level up, and this will be getting you an NFT whitelist. And there seems to be also points coming in, which might indicate for some type of an airdrop down the line. And I really recommend doing that. So do these redemptions actually cost points? Yeah, you have to actually confirm that. But there's a couple of different things here, and some of them seem pretty easy. It's just like liking stuff. Doesn't seem to be super tedious, to be honest. Couple of account connections and stuff like that. And then there seems to be also in the dashboard you can find a referral link as well, and you can have maximum of 10 people. So I guess once I max out my 10, I'm probably gonna be sharing other people's links instead. Moving on, we have Car Protocol, which is not exactly inherently only in Ron, and we have talked about this, and they are now gearing up to a node sale. And well, the thing about that is, will that be good But I don't want to answer that right now, at least. We might talk about it in a very near future video about node sales. Got a lot of intel about that coming in. But basically, you can collect these carved things. You can connect a bunch of different accounts, which will give you daily yields. Then there's referrals and shit like that. And you can claim these balances on different chains. And this is a good way to gather transactions. So you want more transactions ZK Sync, you can do it down there. You want it on OPBNB, or you can do it on Ronin, where it's basically free. But right now I have some issue with the Carve ID. The Carve ID, I do believe, costs $2. And maybe mine has expired or something, but I have to look into that. But basically, this is a good way to gather more transactions on your account. And there are some social chats for a bunch of different games, so the gaming-based project, and there is some interesting value to this, and we will be seeing how it will be turning out. But yeah, this is a one that you definitely want to do if you want to farm transactions, especially. And on Ronin, it's gasless, so I think like 5 transactions per day, or was it week, are free in Ronin, so that's kind of cool design. We talked about pixels a bit already in the start of the video, and now, if I remember, because I haven't obviously been following this project personally that much, what we know is that they had a 1 airdrop for the people who are playing the game, then they had a 2nd airdrop for the Ron stakers, and I'm assuming that there might be even a 3rd drop down the line, or play to earn airdrop. Now there's a thing going on with the pixel lands. Those might be a good buy because they are going to be distributed some type of a token down the line. I think it's called the plots or something, and that was adjacent to the Yield Guild Games validator as well. So they are going to be getting the plot airdrop or something. But you probably want to talk to somebody who's more up to date with the pixels, and there's definitely going to be some value obviously playing this game because people are still playing it. And moving on, we have Metaland. This is a lending protocol on Ronin. It seems to be the only DeFi thing really existing that is third party. I do want to say, as we have talked about on pretty much single videos, so in case you missed, I don't really recommend putting a lot of money or a lot of time into lending protocols because their airdrops suck. In terms of value, they're very low. If the yield is good for the asset, it might be nice. But then again, you have to really think about sometimes they might run out of liquidity and then you're never able to withdraw your funds again from the platform. And that is a bit more rare, but it has happened to me. It happened to me like 4 times on AVAX and once on Phantom. But usually it doesn't happen. But I'm not trying to FUD you here. I'm just saying that there are things that you can stake here like Axie Lands, Ron, and the APY is 14% here, for example, which is higher than the stake in return. So and they also have a $7,000 giveaway going on right now. So, but it is a budget team, so that's kind of making me be a bit skeptic about the quality and the potential about it in the future. And then the very last project on this list is Wild Forest, which did have a play-to-earn airdrop campaign, which I do believe we did talk about on a previous monthly recap video. And there is going to be a season 2 for it, so you might want to bookmark this. And if you're like a mobile gamer, this might be the thing for you. And there are a lot of play-to-earn campaigns going on right now, and there are going to be a lot more of them in the future. And those are their own niche, which can be very profitable given to the context that there are a lot of people who don't farm those because you can't really cycle them. There are a lot more like, requirements. Maybe you need phones, maybe you need a computer or whatever. But that's basically what I have to share about Ron. These were the informations that I was able to find. It's not the biggest ecosystem right now. There isn't that many games, but that may change in the upcoming months. I'm expecting consolidation. I'm expecting mergers. And at some point, like a lot of these gaming chains and NFT chains, there has been already like almost not 100, but you know, 10s, 20, 30 projects probably have migrated from one chain to another because they realized like, oh, we can't scale our game here, or the ecosystem was way too inactive in this place, so we needed to go here, or they went multi-chain. So there's going to be a lot of games which are going to be migrating to Ronin as well, especially if there's going to be some developer incentives down the line. But it will be interesting to see how it will be panning out. But that's it for me today, and thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Cheers.